Welcome to Meet the Author, where you can join in on insightful conversations with best-selling and award-winning indie published authors. Your hosts today are Rob and Joan, who themselves are indie published authors, book publicists, and paranormal investigators with Tampa Bay Spirits, based in Tampa Bay, Florida. Thanks for dropping by. And now, on with the show.
Good evening. I'm Rob.
Hello, I'm Joan. I'm happy that you're watching us or listening to us, whichever it is. We're really glad that you chose to do so. I do want to thank all of our international viewers. We have a large listening audience all around the world, and we appreciate the fact that you tune in and listen to us. I see we have a comment already. Orlando. Hello.
Hi, Orlando.
Orlando says, hello, Rob and Joan. And George just said, let's get her going. You betcha. We are trying to. Anyway, I do want to thank our international audience, and it's really wonderful that you all tune in and that you listen, and we appreciate it. We would love to have you listen live, watch live, make comments. We enjoy your comments. We love your comments, as a matter of fact, and we would really appreciate if you subscribe to our YouTube.
Absolutely.
What is the name of our YouTube so they can subscribe there?
Meet the Author Podcast. That's where you can just put that in there in the search and you'll find it.
And
speaking of international audiences, not yet though.
Mary Dave Valario says hello.
Hello, Mary.
We're so glad you're in the audience tonight. And Kirsten,
up in
howdy
the
from the Northern Tundra.
Ice Cube Central.
It's been cold here, so I can't imagine you guys up in the north. I'm just, so sorry.
No kidding, right?
Orlando said you guys look great.
Oh, thanks. So do
Thanks,
you,
Orlando.
but we can't see you.
We know.
Your
Orlando
icon
looks great. He's so nice. Joe Conjal says, hi, Rob and Joan.
Hey,
hope
Joe.
you had a great Christmas weekend. Yes, that's what else I wanted to say. I hope everyone else out there enjoyed their Christmas.
Yes.
Wallace says, hello, everyone. I think Rob's getting upset.
No, this is fine. Go ahead. Carry on.
But I did. I wanted to say
no
I
problem.
hope you really had a Christmas.
No problem.
Good Christmas.
What I wanted to do, since this is our New Year's, the end of the year, last show, I wanted to recap last year on our podcast, the top 10 countries that over the last year, starting with number 10, believe it or not, listening to the podcast, okay, not watching live, but listening to the podcast, Japan. Number 9 was Colombia. Number 8, Brazil. Number 7, Australia. Number 6, New Zealand. Number 5, India. Number 4, Bangladesh. Number 3, United Kingdom. Number 2, our brothers up in Canada. And then, of course, U.S. is number 1 because that's where we are. But I think it's like down to, so it was about 60% U.S. and the rest was all other countries. So we've got quite a global reach,
including Cameroon. Cameroon probably came in 11th. Yeah, they listen quite a bit. We do have a few more.
Oh my goodness! Yes.
Paula says hello, everyone, and Mari says hi, thank you. Yes, you're welcome. We're glad you're here. Heather Mudgett says hello. Forgive random posts from my floofy assistant likes to get on the keyboard. Our daughter has a very floofy assistant too, who's even said hello during her work day. She works from home.
There you go.
Audrey Sienki, I'm sorry, says hello.
You're
sorry
not sorry if she says hello.
No, I'm sorry. I'm brutalizing her name.
Oh, okay.
Well, it says, wow, congratulations.
No kidding, right?
Yeah.
Well, you guys are making it happen.
Yes.
You guys are making it happen. They want to hear about you, you know?
Mari, you're from Romania?
Mari, that's great.
Thank you.
We'll get you,
and
hopefully we'll get you further up on the list at the end of next year.
Get some more people in Romania.
Encourage your friends. Yeah. Tell them to tune in. Yeah.
And I did get Audrey's name. Good.
Glad.
Cool.
Okay, let's get our business out of the way before we bring in Chris.
Our guest.
Voice of Indie podcast immediately following this show. blogtalkradio.com with host Beam Weeks and Gary G's. They have interesting guests. Not all of them are authors. Some of them are musicians and other interesting people that they've got on their show. It's a call-in kind of show where you can call in and talk live on the radio, like it's a talk radio show. At the end of our show, we run an ad for them. It tells precisely how to get over to their podcast, and it's immediately following ours. So you'll have time. You can pop in there and hear most all of their show. Tonight's their guest is Mark Herndon, who's a Country Hall of Fame drummer, I believe, and Leah Seawright, and I think she may be an author. I'm not sure. But anyway, those are the people that'll be on tonight. Episode Rewind. Our Rewind is going to be Saturday night at 5:30. This Saturday is psychic and author John Russell, episode 58. And
waiting for his next book to come out, by the way.
Right. He's if you can watch it right where you're at right now on the same link that you just went to.
Whatever
same
channel you're on.
Yeah. And then next Wednesday, we start the year out with a New York Times and USA Today bestselling author, Ron Francel. He's an author, journalist, and reporter. Got quite a fascinating career. And,
he's a true crime writer.
He's a true crime writer. That's right.
And a fiction writer.
That's right.
Both.
Let's go over here for a second.
Okay, then I have some more comments.
Here's the Voice of Indie. These are the folks that are going to be on Mark Herndon and Leah Seawright. And then I wanted to tell you also about Siren Hunter is available now for pre-order. And you go to mayanartintl@yahoo.com right there on your screen to pre-order that. February, it's available in February. The advance sale price is only $12. No payment necessary now. You just need to get on the mailing list. So you can go over and order your copy today.
Okay.
That's all of our business.
Okay, we have a few more comments. Joe Conjal says, it is so nice to see what a success this podcast has become. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. And you're one of the factors for making it that way.
And Mari says, yes, she agrees with them. And it is. It's really wonderful. Okay.
Let's take down our Siren Hunter off of there.
Not that we necessarily
don't want it on there. Okay. So you want to introduce Chris?
Yes. I'm sure that those of you who are regularly in our audience know our next guest, know him pretty well because he's usually in the audience. His name is Christman. So let's bring him on right now.
Hi, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Welcome.
Hi, Rob and Joan. Hello, everybody.
This is the voice behind all the comments.
Yes.
I'm the person hiding behind the curtain usually.
This is the face.
There you go.
This is the face.
Yes.
So, Chris, why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm retired, happily married, got some kids, currently living in Missouri. I've been living in Missouri now 30-something years and have pretty much traveled everywhere around the country by motorcycle, believe it or not. My first car was a motorcycle. I built my own motorcycle, my own chopper, so to speak, and literally traveled everywhere with it.
That's exciting. I wouldn't do it, but it's exciting. I did used to do it when I was younger, but that was
it's an interesting way to see the country. I tell you, I've met a lot of friendly people in campgrounds, just the nicest people in the world traveling that way.
Definitely.
But it is not for the faint of heart. I will say that.
Paul Hollis says, welcome, Chris.
Hi, Paul.
And Marie says, hi, Chris.
Hi, Marie. Thanks for showing up.
Oh, Marie. Sorry, Marie.
I think it's Marie.
All right.
I think. I'm not sure.
Uh-oh.
I'm sure she'll let us know in a minute here as soon as she types it in.
I think she knows who she's.
Everyone is very gracious.
I should say I was forced to retire. I should throw that in there too. I was not ready to retire. I retired in 2016.
Okay. Because of health issues.
Because of health issues. Yes.
Yeah.
I should probably throw in. I'm a moderator for Orlando, so he has to be here. I made him be here.
He's already said hello.
Hi, Orlando. Thank you very much for showing up for my interview. I appreciate it.
Joe Conjal says, hi, Chris. Love motorcycling. You had an adventure traveling that far on a chopper.
Yeah, my first long distance motorcycle trip. I should say I was raised in New Jersey, is where I'm from, in case you can't tell from the accent. Because I say water, not water, but I say water. My first long distance trip was from New Jersey down to Florida, and that was an interesting, because we were at the tail end of a hurricane. This was in 81, I think. That's a whole nother story right there. That wasn't bad enough. So the next year we decided to go to the Grand Canyon in Arizona for a 2-week trip. And that was another mechanically interesting trip. Let's put it that I blew out the transmission in St. Louis and drove from St. Louis to Kansas City with only second, third, and fourth gear, to where my dad was living in Kansas City at the time. Pulled in, I had to completely tear down the bike, completely take it all apart, replace a $12 shifter fork.
Oh my goodness.
And put it all back together. And that Monday evening continued on my trip to Arizona.
No more problems then, hopefully.
No more problems after that.
A few comments here. I told you that she would let us know. Marie.
Like Sound of Music, Marie.
Yeah. And this is Orlando Sanchez. He says, hi, Chris. Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Thank you,
Joy Shelton York says,
Joy.
hello, Chris.
Hi, Joy.
Joy. We love Joy. And let's see, Marie says, hi, Orlando Sanchez. And she's saying that just so that you know, because she's on a different channel. So they can't see each other's comments.
She's in Orlando's readers group, and she's also in my readers group too. So
cool.
Excellent.
That's how we know her.
And George says, Hurricane Carla, he's asking, is that the one that you chased down here?
I think it was. We were trapped in a campground in Georgia for 2 days waiting for it to blow over.
Yeah.
I would not recommend riding in a hurricane. It was,
No. So how did you get started writing?
Oh, wow. I've always been a reader. I mean, I would absorb books. My mom would take us to the library every week, and I'd come home literally with a stack of books. So, I mean, I've been a reader my entire life. And in fact, I think I was probably 11 or 12 when Mom convinced the librarian to allow me to go into the adult reading section, because I had read everything in the children's section. And that's when I got introduced to all of the good sci-fi, because I'm basically a hard sci-fi guy. You know, Asimov, Robert Heinlein, I mean, all the great guys.
We actually had one of our children on his birthday. That's how much
really. I think
daughter Patricia was born on January 2nd.
My first, I would say, fanboy that I went after was Andre Norton. I literally had every single paperback book that she ever wrote. And what's interesting is I didn't find out until the 90s that she was actually a female.
Oh.
I never knew that her first name was Alice. Yeah. Never knew that.
How about that? Yeah. Interesting.
Orlando.
She is the one that introduced me to the world of magic, the Witch World series. That set it off for me.
Orlando says everything is connected. And that
yes, Orlando, that is my catchphrase, that everything is connected.
and you are correct.
Whether we want it to be or not, we are connected.
I know. So let's all get along together.
Why can't we?
I think.
So
never mind. I'll start singing a Coca-Cola tune here.
We can go. Yeah, I'd like to teach the world to sing.
You're a singer too.
Perfect,
oh my goodness, this is awesome.
I'm a guitar player.
Orlando should be playing the music behind you there.
Yeah, there you go. I've got a couple guitars over here in the corner, and yeah. At one time in the early 80s, I think we had a big living room at the time, and I built a special shelf because I'd have friends that come over and we'd have jam sessions. I owned 7 guitars, a mandolin, banjo, violin, a couple of flutes. I had literally an entire band hanging on my wall back in those days.
Wow.
I love the mandolin.
Yes, me too. I could never learn to play it. My fingers were too big.
I'd love to play it too.
Yeah, we used to have worship meetings in our house, and everybody would bring all their instruments, and we had bongos and congos and mandolins and guitars and just everything. And the one young woman played the mandolin. Oh
my gosh! That was my first public appearance, was playing my electric guitar in like 68 or 69 in church. That was my first public appearance. That was interesting, shall we say.
Yeah, it is. It's really great. Joe Conjal says, motorcycles and guitars, a man after my own heart. Yeah, just strap on your back and go down the road.
There you go. Anywhere you stop, you can just drop your helmet down, play a song, and start collecting tip monies for some more gas money.
Takes a long extension cord for that electric guitar, though.
That is true. That is true.
All right. We're getting off the subject here.
Yeah, we can get sidetracked real easy.
Our first break. Do we want to go ahead and take our break and then come back and start talking about your books?
And your actual books, because Chris is an author, and maybe that is what we should talk about.
That's right. Yeah, we are an author show, aren't we?
No, that's right. Yeah. That's right. But we're a people show too. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break. Be back in a couple of minutes.
Sponsors.
Nobody go away, okay?
We appreciate our sponsors.
They thought the siren was dead. In the novel Siren Song by author George Dismukes, James Harmon shot her twice. Several people saw her dead body sinking slowly into the abyss. But now, in Siren Song 2, evidence suggests that she may still be alive.
She killed that boatload of people. It was her! And she's just getting started.
Angie, that's impossible.
The cold chill up my spine tells me it's not impossible. We've got to start all over again. And this time, do it right.
Siren Song 2. The story continues. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and many other bookseller websites. Get your copy today.
Welcome to Magnolia Bluff, Texas, a small town in the heart of the Texas Hill Country near Burnett Reservoir. A town where everyone's business is discussed at the local coffee shop. A town where neighbors look out for each other. A town not insulated from murder and mayhem. Which begs these questions. Who is responsible for breaking into quaint Victorian homes? And how are poodles, ghosts, drug cartels, and a Ponzi scheme connected with a serial killer? Caroline McCluskey, the town's librarian, catalogs books using the Dewey Decimal System. When a black and white poodle puppy arrives unannounced, she calls him Dewey. Now, Caroline must catalog events to identify a serial killer in her town. Pick up your copy of the Dewey Decimal Dilemma, now available on Amazon.
At Indie Booksource, you can shop. At Indie Booksource, you can shop by genre or by author, and you will be buying direct from the author's main purchase link. We offer hundreds of titles in formats that include ebooks, paperback, hardbound, and audiobook. Support an indie author. Visit indiebooksource.com today.
And we're back.
Yes. I really love that poodle. I think I want it. I'm not kidding either. But I think
no, you're not.
I'm saying it out loud in front of my dog. I don't think she's going to like it at all.
She's sleeping.
Okay, let's bring up your first book here. This is book number 1, Mixed Magic by Christman. It's the first in the
Mixed Magic
series.
Saga.
Could you describe your book cover for those people that are listening and can't see the book cover, which is amazing, by the way?
Yes, Deranged Dr. Design did the cover, and they are just amazing in their work. Just blew me away. Okay, the cover has, and I should mention that my characters are older than your normal average young, hunky kind of guy. I wanted more middle-aged heroes in my book. Somebody needs to write something for people our age. So the guy on the left, the wizard.
Yeah.
The wizard on the left is he's got long hair. He's holding a ball of energy in his casting hand in his right hand. The Earth Witch is next to him. And she's got a warrior outfit on, and she's got her wand, and she's doing some earth magic alongside of him. And the killer element is the Chinese mage that's at the top. He's got both of his arms outstretched, and he is covering up an energy portal. He is holding everything together.
That's a really good description. Thank you. I'm
very.
sure that people can see that. We have 2 more comments. Joe Conjal says the colors on the cover work really well together, and they do. They are turquoise and dark colors, and they are great. And Paul Hollis says, "Oh, great colors." And
cover. Yeah.
And then George Dismuke says, "Damn right. Let's hear it for older, more mature characters."
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I was just tired of reading of all the young hunky guys that are falling in love with all the young beautiful girls. There's more out there than just these young punk kids, shall we say.
Our 2 main protagonists in our books are in their late 40s, early 50s. So we agree with you. That's why we wrote them that way. Orlando Sanchez says, excellent cover. But yeah, a lot of people our age read books.
Exactly. I've seen the demographics, and yes, we read a lot.
So can you tell us a little bit about your first book?
Yeah.
Without giving it away. I mean,
without giving too much away, the bad guy was an ex-Green Beret who vanished in the Vietnam War and then turns up a few years later. He had been rescued by some monks in a temple. And over the years, he became a protester against nuclear energy. started a company, and because he thought nuclear energy was bad for the world. And it's current day times is when this takes place.
Okay.
He gathers a set of his ex-military buddies, and they take over the nuclear power plant that is just south of Kansas City. And he's threatening to blow it up, reactor, the China syndrome, melt down the reactor, unless the entire country shuts off and gets rid of all their nuclear reactor power plants. So, of course, the FBI gets called in, the Army guys gets called in. But when he was in Vietnam, or I guess it would be Laos, somewhere over there in the Middle East, he found this staff that was left over from the ancient dragon wars. It's called Desecrator. It's the corruptor of minds. And slowly over the last 50 years, it had corrupted his mind enough to where he was just obsessed with stopping nuclear power. So, of course, he takes over the plant, and with the power of this magical staff, causes an earthquake. And, of course, the FBI and the military doesn't know what to do, so they call in the wizard to help save the day and keep it from getting blown up. And the wizard, of course, calls on his earth witch friend to help him out with the earth magic, because she can take care of the earthquake part of it. And then he calls in his Chinese friend, who he knew a long time ago in the Dragon Wars, because he needs someone to take care of the reactor. And he figured since the Chinese guy has lived for a couple of thousand years, he can take care of that for him.
I'm glad I don't have to live a couple of thousand years.
Yeah.
I just
oh no, yeah, living.
Just let me put that out there.
I would agree with that. In fact, I've got a quote I tweeted out. It's like, yeah, I've lived for a long time, and I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse. I think it's a curse. Going by the aches and pains that I feel these days, yeah. Only the good die young. The rest of us are stuck here.
Yeah.
There you go.
I know. That's the truth. We've known a lot of good people that have died young. Okay, let me bring up your second book here. And this one is called Wild Magic, and it's book 2 in the Mixed Magic Saga.
Yes.
All right. You want to describe this? Well, of course, he stops the bad guy in the first one, but one of the earthquake tremors slipped through, and the wizard and the earth witch try to trace down where it's going and what's going to happen next. Come to find out, it goes to Yellowstone National Park, which, as we all know, is a supervolcano. Yep.
And this earthquake tremor was just enough that Yellowstone is about to erupt and change the western half of the United States forever. Yeah,
actually, that could happen.
Yeah.
Change our reservations.
Yep. Yeah, Yellowstone actually rises an inch or two every year. So it's going to blow. It's about 40,000 years overdue, according to my research.
Yep, that's what we've heard. Yeah, we were camping in Oregon, and we were hiking. We were on a ranger hike with a guided hike up one of the mountains.
Just outside of Eugene.
Just outside of Eugene, Oregon. And everybody else was wearing hiking shoes. I was wearing tennis shoes. And my feet started feeling hot. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the bottom of my shoes, and the rubber had melted smooth. Yep. And I said to the ranger, look at what's happening to my sneakers. And with that, he knelt down and he touched the side of the mountain, and he said, okay, everybody down off the mountain. And that was just before Mount St. Helens.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that's what was happening. It was getting ready to blow, and it was really scary.
That was scary. Yeah.
But that didn't happen. But maybe 2 weeks later before it blew. But I guess different things let off steam and stuff like that.
Yeah, the steam vents. Yeah, the steam vents stretch all out, and actually,
a whole bunch of those. We went into some of those.
Later we went into the tubes caused by the lava
tubes. Yep.
Then I have, a fear of being closed in. So Audrey says, this is such a great series. I love it.
Well, thank you, Audrey.
Are you waiting for book 3, Audrey? Because I see that there are only 2.
Yep. Book 3 is coming out this spring.
Awesome. And Marie says, fumerals. Yes, that's what it is. And Kirsten Hall said, yikes. Yes, it was yikes.
Yeah, the research for both of these books was, oh my gosh, I think I spent about a third of my time researching as much as I did writing, because if you're going to blow up a reactor, have to know how it works in order to save it, right?
Oh, you do, or else people that know
somebody will point out
the story.
Yes.
They won't be able to enjoy it.
Yes. Trust me, everything about the reactor in book 1 is 100% accurate. 100%. Yeah. I could probably operate a nuclear reactor at this point.
And people do care about that.
Okay.
I do.
When 3 Mile Island happened, I was living in New Jersey, and we were downwind of 3 Mile Island, and it was a very, very scary thing.
Well, Kirsten, who just made the comment about yikes, she's in Minnesota. That's not that far away from
Yellowstone.
Well, if Yellowstone, the actual Calandra, the entire part of Yellowstone, oh my gosh, it's about the size of Rhode Island. I mean, it would literally destroy the western half of the United States.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
So Joe Conjal has a question for you. He says, okay, the big question, LOL, gotta know, are you a plotter or a pantser?
See, I knew this question was going to come up.
Yeah, you did.
Because I have asked this question myself.
That's what you always ask, right?
I would say it's a loose plot, and it's more of a pantser than a plotter. Now for book 1, I actually have had the plot, a 2-page plot for that since 1980. I wrote the plot for that after watching the China Syndrome. I'm like, well, hey, what would happen if somebody decided to try and create a reactor core meltdown? So I've had the plot since then. I've just changed it and added magic to it and make it more relevant.
Yeah. And Christman says, in between the premise of his characters, there's plenty of humorous banter and snarky, hilarious comments, says wifey, LOL. Hi, wifey. We're glad that
Thank you, Anne. I appreciate the comment.
Yeah, I appreciate the comment too. And Kirsten said, yeah, if Yellowstone blows, we're all in trouble. Yeah, the whole world is actually in trouble.
The whole world is,
super volcano.
Yeah, we would go into not quite a nuclear winter, but it would be the same effect. It would change the climate for a long time, and we'd have another ice age.
Oh, Kirsten has a question for you. Will you do reads and reviews for other sci-fi authors?
Sure. I have no problem reading and reviewing.
Good.
Awesome.
Did you want to read an excerpt from one of your books?
Sure, I would love to do that. My wife actually talked me into doing this.
Good.
Oh, and before you do that, I want to remind everybody that's watching from YouTube to go ahead and click that subscribe button, because we need all the help we can
subscribe,
get.
and share. Subscribe, and share. Yes.
That's right. Absolutely.
Okay, Kirsten wants to know, what's your email? Kirsten, we're going to give his email in just a little while.
Shortly.
We'll be giving out all of his contact information, and you can copy it down then.
Yep, I'm everywhere on Facebook and YouTube. I'm around everywhere.
All right. As soon as you're done with your reading, we're going to break for our second break, and then we'll come back with all your contact information and the book giveaway.
Okay,
Sounds like a plan. Are you ready? One more?
After the next
We're
commercial
ready.
break. Yeah, we're ready.
Okay. And this is from book 1, and this is how it starts. We have a quote. There is no such thing as a painless lesson. They just don't exist. You're retired. Start acting like it, you foolish old man. You can't afford any more damage to your body. Your scars have scars. Annie's words, a constant reminder of who and what he was. Zardoz pulled off the interstate. The dim lights of the tiny gas station, the only illumination in the pitch black sky of Nebraska. Downshifting smoothly, his tired body reacting on instinct, the motorcycle beneath him an extension of his being. Reaching down with his right hand, he threw a switch, instantly silencing the custom exhaust system he had installed. No magic, purely mechanical. No one with magical abilities would be able to follow him to this remote location in the middle of nowhere. The ley lines' energy intertwining ensured that this was a null location. Keeping his home isolated from magic was critical to his role as a guardian of the magic world. Bootstrap was his friend. Computer people will get that. Bootstrap was his friend, but he'd be damned if he would travel to hell to help rescue him. Not that he couldn't go with the rescue team. He wanted to go with them, truth be told, but his Annie would kill him for even thinking about taking the risk. That's why he was using the secret backdoor entrance to his home. He never lied, ever. Of all of the often outrageous rumors surrounding his name, that one was true. Every word he spoke was the truth. Why? Because words have power. Some words more than others, as anyone who has ever had to face the wrath of his spoken words to their face could tell you. That is, if they hadn't been erased from universal written history. Delete. Such a simple but powerful word. One of the few that possessed multiple layers of possibilities. Unlike die, perhaps the most powerful word in all the universes, it had but one outcome, death. All wizards, mages, and witches used words in their casting. Basic spell casting 101. But it was the personal power of the caster, their core being, that was the source of that energy. Words directed that energy. How that energy was used determined the power of magic, of the magic. Looking up the countless stars stretching across the sky, he let the sheer wonderment of the boundless universe wash over him, cleansing his mind and body of negative energy. No magic, only the natural energy of the universe that connected everything. That energy was something everyone was connected to, and while many were aware of it and used it to varying degrees, only rarely could a human tap directly into the source as he could. That's what made him a guardian of magic. Grounded to the earth, he let the energy flow through him. Wave after wave caressed his skin, causing it to tingle, electrified by frequencies unknown to human science. Sounds in the ether, Tesla called it, claimed he could hear it. They called him mad, yet Tesla invented modern electricity, alternating current. Science, not magic, powered the world today. Perhaps Tesla was not so mad after all. The tingling feeling increased until it felt like his body was on fire. Spark danced from his fingertips, eyes brightened with an intensity showing barely contained power. Using his casting hand to cover the pendant, it shut off the flow of energy from the source. The night's darkness once more surrounded him, a familiar old friend. He was safe in the dark.
Wow, that's really good. I just want to say there's also a lot of truth in what you just read. I mean, you know, Words are eternal.
Yes. Words matter. Words
they do. It's a bell that's been rung. It can't be unrung.
Exactly.
That's right. Let's take our 2-minute break. We'll be right back, and we'll do our book giveaway and
give out the
contact information for you and talk some more about your books.
So don't go away, Kirsten.
Don't go away.
And don't go away anybody else.
Madison Jackson loved being a cop. A young girl is raped and murdered near Burnett Reservoir. Madison vows to get justice for the child. Madison travels to the heart of Mexican cartel country. She is kidnapped, tortured. Will Madison ever make it home? Justice by Kelly Marshall, only at Amazon.com.
Many secrets are hidden within the darkness of the jungle. Behold, this one about a man, a woman, a black jaguar, and an ancient Maya legend. Two Faces of the Jaguar is a novel by George Dismukes that will take you deep into the jungle and capture your imagination until the last word. Two Faces of the Jaguar is book 1 of a trilogy. Two Faces of the Jaguar, where only the adventurous dare to read.
Two Faces of the Jaguar, The Lost City, and The Jaguar's Quest are available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and many other bookseller websites. Two Faces of the Jaguar, the book people are talking about. Get your copy today.
In a world where advancing technology is outpacing crime solving, the O'Rourke team continues their relentless pursuit of justice. Bioprints is the first book in the O'Rourke crime novel series where it's high-tech crime versus old-fashioned detective work. Visit carternovels.com or amazon.com and check out Bioprints today. We're back.
We are back. And let's give everybody all your contact information. Okay. You know what? This ticker has never been showing.
How about
that? How do you like that?
Wow.
There we go. Now we know who you are.
You got to click on the button.
There you go.
There you go. I have one job to do. All right. Website is chrischristman.net, and that's CHRISCHRISTMAN, of course, .net. Facebook also is Chris Christman. Now, Twitter is his character. So that's at Zardoz 74.
Yep.
It's ZARDOZ 74. Instagram is Chris Christman, the number 2. Not the word, the number 2. And his email is chrischristman2@grm.net.
Now, the book giveaway, you want to do this a little different than what we normally do. You've got 3 copies to give away.
Yes. And what I would like to do is, because you guys are on the different platforms, whoever emails me, when you email me, just mention where you listened or watched the podcast. If you were on YouTube, mention YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, mention the podcast. If you're on Facebook, mention Facebook. That way, I think we'll give everybody an equal chance in getting a free book.
Okay.
Right. So even if you're listening to this tomorrow.
Exactly. Yes.
Or just listening to the podcast, not watching, you have a chance. So
yes, this way everybody has an equal chance.
And let me just say it's the first book.
Yeah.
Yes, the first book.
Magic book 1.
Yes.
And again, we'll keep the email up here for those of you who are watching, and it's chrischristman2@grm.net, and we'll just keep that up so people have.
Yeah, and if they go to my website, the email is there along with the sign up for the newsletter and all of that. Mm-hmm. And all of my books are always going to be on Kindle Unlimited. I am a firm believer in Kindle Unlimited.
Okay, good. Why are you a firm believer?
Well, because I read so much, I could not afford to buy all the books that I read. It's just, I read too much.
Oh, I see. So you want to bless people the same.
Yeah, if you want to buy the book, hey, please buy the book. But if you'd rather just read it and go through Kindle Unlimited. I have no problem with that at all.
Are your books on audio?
No, they're not. I'm waiting until all three are done. It's going to be a trilogy, and I'm waiting till all three are done so I can put out all three pretty much as a rapid release kind of deal.
Okay, well that's good to know. It's important for people to know that.
Oh, and you had, and I forgot when you wanted me to talk about myself, how I got into writing and what. I mean, I wrote songs back in the 70s like we all did and whatnot. I've actually been disabled 3 different times. In 1983, I was in a really bad motorcycle accident that destroyed the right half of my body. I turned 27 on life support, put it that way. But and they were like, well, you're crippled. You can't work anymore. I'm like, screw that, So, I stuck with therapy and went back to work. In 1998 or 99, I think it was, I fell off a ladder at work and ended up getting hurt. And I had shoulder surgery and both elbow surgeries and couldn't work at what I was doing anymore. And vocational rehab said, well, we can send you to go work with the blind people, or we can send you to college. Which would you rather do? So I went back to college in 1999 at age 40 something or other, because I can't sit still. I'm an artist. I've been an artist my entire life. I have to create something. So I went to college, started my own computer business, did that for a number of years all through the 2000s, all while raising 2 kids. And then in 2016, old injuries of my shoulder caught up with me and I lost the use of my right arm. Frozen shoulder is basically what it was. And I could no longer use my right hand. And it's like, all right, you have to retire now. So I was forced to retire that 3rd time. And that lasted for about a year. And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't sit around and wave at the cars as they go by. I have to do something. And that's when I had told Orlando this when I first became a moderator for him. I'm like, I've got a book that I've got in me to write. He's like, yeah, I know. So I wrote that book, which will probably never get published because it's about my motorcycle accident and things from back then. I finished that and it's like, all right, well, what am I going to do now? I'm like, well, I know all these urban fantasy people. Why not try to write an urban fantasy book? And that's how I became an urban fantasy writer. I was forced into it, shall we say. Typing one-handed.
That's a different path than most of us, I think.
Right.
The point is you're only as disabled as you think you are. I'm a survivor. You can do whatever you put your mind to doing.
That's true.
Never give up. Never give up.
Doesn't mean it's easy.
Doesn't mean it's easy. It's hard. It is really hard.
Mm-hmm. It is hard, but you can do it. Wendy Schindler said, right there with you, Chris. Kindle Unlimited saves lots of money.
Yes.
It does. And it's a good thing that you have all your books on Kindle Unlimited so people can take advantage of that and read all that magic and have all that fun escaping into the story.
And I had asked my beta readers after I did the first one, it's like, do I have enough magic in this book? Or because mine is a unique twist of magic and science together. my main character, Zardoz, prefers to use science rather than magic. So he's more of a scientist than he is a wizard. He's only a wizard because, well, he's got the power, but he prefers to use science. That's my unique take on urban fantasy, something a little bit different.
Kirsten Hall says, never give up, never surrender. Galaxy Quest.
Never.
It's a great quote, Kirsten.
Great
and
quote.
We actually hear people saying, never give up, never surrender. And I think a lot of them don't even realize it comes from that movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I think I have that quote on my Facebook my personal Facebook profile. It's
never give up, never surrender. It's a great quote.
And one of my other famous quotes that I absolutely love that most people won't get is from the movie Harvey. Remember Harvey with Jimmy Stewart?
Of course.
He goes, doctor, I wrestled with reality for 35 years, and I'm finally happy to say that I won out over it.
He really was seeing Harvey.
Yeah, no, a lot of people would say, who's Jimmy Stewart?
I know.
I know you guys would know who he was. So I felt comfortable with that.
One of my favorites.
I love Jimmy Stewart. And Harvey
says, we prefer magic. And when
there's a cost to magic.
There's a cost to everything that you do.
Yes.
And that's just okay. Don't get me started.
That's
the
not
law
a quote
of physics.
From a movie,
No,
or a game or anything. Okay.
It's just the way the world works.
Yeah. You want to stay warm, you have to go out and cut the wood and split it and bring it in. And I did that for 15 years. Yeah.
Well, and there is a cost to expending energy. So, there's a cost to everything you do. Wendy Schindler says, song by Triumph, never surrender. LOL. That's true. That is so good. Yes.
My books are full of Easter eggs and movie quotes and yeah.
Oh, Wendy she got exactly what I was talking about. Wendy said the heat is in the tools, and you're absolutely right.
Yep.
And if you're the tool, guess where the heat is?
Yeah.
It's in the tool.
So, Chris, you got a book coming out in the spring. Can you tell us a little bit about where it's headed?
Oh, I don't want to do a cover. I've got the cover. I'm looking at the cover right now, but I don't want to do a reveal yet.
Okay.
Let's just say it's called Old Magic, and because of what happens in book number 2, it triggers the old magic and awakens a dragon, the last dragon.
Okay.
I love dragons.
Oh yeah, me too. Yes, I've got dragons everywhere. We had to put a dragon in there.
There you go.
I've been a member of an online dragon multiplayer game for I think maybe 13 years, and I own thousands of dragons on that.
Cool. I've got dragons. I've got dragons everywhere. Dragons are my spirit animal.
I love them. They're awesome. They're really cool. I'd like to fly on one, but
oh yes, the Dragon Riders of Pern. Oh my gosh, don't get me.
Anne
fire
McCaffrey.
lizard. I want a fire lizard. Yes.
So Anne McCaffrey, when she passed away, her son took over.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys listened to Ann Hillerman when she was on our show, but she took over her dad's books, Tony Hillerman, which is the Jim Chee and Joe Leaphorn novels. She did a great job.
Yes, I would agree.
Unfortunately, Anne McCaffrey's son, not so good.
No, I tried it and didn't care for it. No.
My daughters and I agree. Now, though, her daughter is writing, and those books are good.
Really?
So you got to check that out.
I'll have to check them out then too.
You like that? I don't remember her name right now. I'm old.
I can find it. Yeah.
Yeah. Kirsten Hall said, spirit animal, 90% dragon with a pinch of 10% sloth. That's Kirsten.
Kirsten, I don't think you have any sloth in you. Are you kidding me?
Hardest worker we know.
I don't know of anybody that works as hard as you do.
Her and George Dismukes, I think.
George too, yeah.
Well, that's like my wife when we first started dating in 2015. She was like, you have to stop moving around. You're like a monkey on crack. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you're always busy doing something. I said, wait till you meet my mother. Well, the next year we went out to California. She met my mother. My mother can run rings around me. So it's genetic. It's in the blood. We can't be still. We have to be doing something all the time.
It's called ADHD.
My wife says I have a touch of Asperger's, which she might be right. I don't know.
Well, if you ever look up all the things on the spectrum, because we
my gosh, yeah.
We have autistic grandchildren, and we're all on the spectrum.
We are all on the spectrum at some point. Yeah, depends on how far you want to get into it.
Yep, I agree. Yeah. I think so. Not everybody has the difficulties that some of our grandchildren have.
Some of them are worse than others. Yeah. And a lot of them, they manage to slip through society and you would never know anything was wrong.
Yeah. And it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Everybody has their own path to walk.
Absolutely. But mental health issues are important, and we shouldn't hide them, and we shouldn't be embarrassed by them. And
no one should be afraid to talk about mental health issues. I mean, I've got PTSD. I've had it since '83. And it's something, I mean, I lost a nephew to suicide back in early 2006 or 7. Mm-hmm. And it's just, people need to open up and tell people when something is wrong.
Yeah. And that's especially this time of year.
Especially this time of year.
Especially following Christmas. So this week, if anybody out there that's listening to this needs any help.
Anybody wants to talk about PTSD and what I've learned in the last 40 years, give me a buzz. I'd be more than happy to share what I've learned.
Right.
And Rob and I are always willing to listen to anybody.
This is a safe place. So.
It is a safe place.
And a lot of times that's all somebody needs is someone to listen without judging or even talking. They just need somebody to listen.
And know that somebody cares.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And somebody does care. A lot of people care.
Yes.
It's just sometimes people can't see that because they're in such a hurt place. But
yeah. Yep.
Wait a minute.
Wendy said...
Wait a minute.
What comments am I missing?
I may need help disposing of a body if you're offering LOL. No, that's not what we said. By a safe pace, we did not mean we would be aiding and abetting.
That's safe.
I know Wendy. She's got a podcast show. She lives south of me in Kansas City, and she's a paranormal investigator, kind of like you guys are. And she's wanting me to GPS all the local cemeteries up here, and because she wants to come up and visit the cemeteries.
Oh yes, we belong to a team of people. We investigate all the time. We just came back in September. We were gone for almost a month, investigating all around Tennessee. It was really fun.
The time has flown by. My gosh.
I know.
It has.
So Marie says, wait a minute, let me get that up there. A good friend helps. Best friends help you. And Wendy says, still waiting for that too.
I've got a few of them GPS for you, Wendy. I'll get you a list by summertime.
So, Chris, what kind of advice would you have for somebody that hasn't attempted yet to start out writing, but would really like to do it?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say, besides, joining readers groups of authors that you like to read, is offer to be a moderator for one of those authors. Now, like, for example, I'm a moderator for Orlando, John P. Logston, but if you can't be a moderator, be a beta reader. I mean, authors are always out there looking for beta readers, and I learned a lot just by beta reading for authors. And I had no interest in writing an urban fantasy book at all when I joined Orlando. I just liked what he wrote. And over time, I'm like, well, hey, maybe I can give this a shot. But beta reading for authors would be my best advice.
How do you recommend someone becoming a beta reader?
Well, there's
Doc.
Well, they call them ARC teams, or Orlando's is the Art Advanced Reader Team. I call mine beta readers. Just go to that, like I said, an author that you like to read and say, hey, are you needing any beta readers? I mean, that's the best way to do it, is just ask. All they can do is say no.
Joe Conjo just made a comment, and actually it brings up another thing I wanted to talk about. Joe Conjo said, Rob and Joan, you guys need to do a show on all your ghost investigative adventures. Dedicate an hour to just you two speaking on what you've seen and experienced.
Yep.
Actually, Joe, I think we're probably going to be doing some pop-up type of podcasts on that. And also our team has a Facebook, Tampa Bay Spirits is on Facebook. And we're thinking about and we need to talk to the rest of the team, but Rob and I think we would like to have people do Facebook Live and tell their own personal ghost stories, because we know that a lot of you that are non-investigators, you've had experiences, and it's amazing how many people tell us, well, I had this happen. So we're going to try and get some of all of you that have your own ghost stories to tell your own ghost stories. And yeah, we have a lot of ghost stories.
I agree with Joe. I think that's a really good idea. You guys really ought to look into doing that.
Yeah. And maybe we could do it here on this show. And that brings up another thing I wanted to ask you all about. And we had talked to Chris about it in our pre-show. We met a young man on our trip to Tennessee, and he does voiceover, and he would like to get into doing audiobooks. And he sent us a little tape of what he could do. And we think he's really wonderful.
Yeah.
How do you guys think? How would you guys like it if we brought him on the show, and maybe not have him for the whole hour, but have him on for a little bit, just so you guys could meet him and get his information and hear what he could do? So let us know if you think that that's a good idea. You can, drop us an email or text us or message us or whatever.
Where to find it.
I think that's a good idea too. I would agree.
Wendy said we all love personal ghost stories. Yes, it's like, what have you seen? What have you heard? Marie's talked about hers, but we haven't heard it.
I think I told one of my ghost stories on Wendy's podcast last year, if I remember correctly.
And then Joy Shelton York said, I agree with Joe too. Joe Conjal said, I think that's a great idea. I think you're talking about the young man who does the voiceover artist. Oh, Kirsten said, yes, I would love to find an audio person.
Kirsten's always looking for beta readers too. I mean, I've seen her.
There you go.
Yes. Yep. I think Joe Concho is someone you'd be interested in too, Kirsten. And Paul Hollis says, yes, please bring him on. Okay, we will. And Marie says, okay. Wendy said, yes, you did, Chris, and Marie also. And Marie said it was long ago.
It was, yeah. And my memory is not what it used to be.
Which is funny, because the way we got into doing this podcast was because we were on a number of podcasts about the paranormal, and we were asked to do our own podcast.
Really?
And we said, well, we don't want to do it on the paranormal. We want to do it for our authors. We want to give our authors a place to speak and to give them a voice and let people meet them and see what wonderful people they are. So
yeah, this show I love this show. You know, I've been watching for a while, and I just love that you bring on authors, and it gives us as readers a chance to see the face and the voice behind the written words.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's so many different people.
Yeah.
Everyone's just wonderful. So.
I know. Yeah, we have
authors are the nicest people. Well, most authors are the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. I'll put most.
Well, yeah, put most in front of that.
Yeah, most in front of that.
True. That is very true.
Kirsten says, Monmouth College in Monmouth, Illinois, mind-blowing for ghosts. Ooh, we'll have to check that out. Our team likes to travel.
Yeah, there you
go. Paul, I said, you guys are the podcast king and queen.
I want to have Paul back. I just love hearing Paul's stories. He just tells the
I know. And they're true.
That's
the thing that's like...
We need to have a show with Paul where he can tell us the stories that he can't tell the rest of the people. That's what I want to hear.
Sure, being on the internet so everybody could hear it, that's no problem.
No problem for Paul. They may still be looking for him.
I was going to say, yeah. We don't want that. No,
we don't. Yeah, but his stories are crazy. And I love it that they're true. And that's what I mean. And George Dismukes, you guys, you haven't heard a tenth of his stories.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Wendy Schindler goes, no FCC here, LOL. Paul Hollis says, thank you all so much. I'm blushing out. Really, Paul, your stories are.
Yeah.
And George, too. George has the most amazing stories, and he hasn't even
touched the surface.
Surface. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. It's all connected.
There it is. We are all connected.
And I couldn't find it. I'm glad that you did.
You are welcome.
Oh my goodness. This has been such a great show.
Yeah.
I've had fun. I've had a lot of fun.
I have
to
too.
See the guy behind the comments.
And thank you, audience, because you have made this a great show.
It's been fun.
It has been.
Yeah. And I'm surprised nobody asked me where Zardoz came from. So, yeah, we'll leave that for another show.
All right.
Well, he's out there doing stuff, isn't he?
He's out there doing stuff behind the curtain is what he's doing.
Joe Conjal said, great show as always. Thanks to Chris and, of course, Rob and Joan. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
And Paul Hollis says, another wonderful show, of course. Thanks, Chris, Joan, and Rob. It has been. Marie says, thank you all, and thank you.
Thanks for showing up, Marie. I know it's like the middle of the night over there.
That's what she said.
Feel free to join us anytime you can't sleep.
Joy Sheldon says, great show. Kirsten said, thanks for the entertainment this evening. And Orlando said, great show. Here we go. Good. Oh my goodness. Our thing is messing up.
It's the gremlins in the machine. I'm telling you.
There are some gremlins. No, don't do that. Oops.
Okay. No, I needed to do that, but great show, y'all.
Okay.
Good.
There, Heather said thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Okay, well, we're going to do thank you so much, Chris. It's been awesome, and we'll have to have you on again another day. And
thank you both so much for having me on this show. I feel like I'm a real actual author now.
I think you already were a real actual
you were an author
author
before.
I think you have been for some time.
I'm going to move you over to the side here, and you sit tight, and we'll be back with you later. And that was just awesome.
It was a really good show.
Make sure you show up. Come by next Wednesday, same place. And wanted to tell you about the get to the right spot here. Our next year, January schedule is right here. Ron Francel will be January 4th. Robin Materich is on January 11th. C.W. Hawes, Christopher Hawes, will be on January 18th. And Jeffrey Marshall will be on January 25th. And then, of course, we have our episode rewinds. Doug Cooper, Beam Weeks, Patrick Parker, and Nick Jarkus are going to be on the episode rewinds for January. So,
and we'll let you guys know when we're going to have that young man on who does audio. I think you'll really be happy to hear what he can do. He's very entertaining, and he can change his voice quite a bit. So that's what you need when you have an audiobook read.
Okay. So we're going to tell you how to get a hold of or hop over to Voice of Indie right now and enjoy the show. And
see you next Wednesday.
Until next time.
That's all, folks.
Bye.
Live every Wednesday, your Voice of Indie hosts Beam Weeks and Stephen G's welcome authors, musicians, publishing industry pros, artists, and assorted creative guests for an exciting interactive hour. Call in during the show or post questions and comments on Twitter for responses in real time. Meet your favorite indie creators, learn inside tips, network, and promote your work. The link for each week's show is pinned on Twitter atop @VoiceOfIndie, and you can receive the link every Wednesday morning in your inbox by subscribing to our newsletter at freshinkgroup.com. Check out Voice of Indie every Wednesday on Blog Talk Radio and catch hundreds of episodes archived everywhere from our websites to our YouTube channel and Spotify.
Thank you for joining us here on Meet the Author. Make sure you stay up to date with our show by clicking like, follow, and share. And you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and more. See you next time on WLFE-DB.com.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.